You might want to grab
Welcome to Maroons Tuesday Night Live at Mac and Bob's in Salem, Virginia, with your hosts, Nick DeSanctis and Richmond Bramblett.
Welcome to Maroons Tuesday Night Live at Mac and Bob's. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nick DeSanctis with my good friend Richmond Bramblett here on Tuesday, March 20th. Tonight we'll be joined by Roanoke softball alum Jess Seaman, softball senior captain Catherine Corey, along with head softball coach Mike Mitchell, communications director for the city of Salem Mike Stevens, senior women's lacrosse defender Liz Harchie, women's lacrosse head coach Mary Schwartz, along with men's lacrosse sophomore Mike Littner, men's lacrosse head coach Bill Pilot, along with strength and conditioning coach Dave Sampson for our last ever Meets of the Week.
And we're going to go ahead and look at the sports from the last time we were here. The men's lacrosse team is currently ranked number 14 in the country with a record of 4-3, and their 3 losses coming only from other ranked teams. The Maroons defeated the College of Worcester on Wednesday, March 14th, with a tally of 16-4. Jeff Keating and Joey Coretti each finished the game with 4 goals, followed by Reed Mayberry with 3 goals. Max Satoski went 13 for 15 on faceoffs and picked up a team-high 13 ground balls in his effort. In the Maroons' most recent contest, the team fell in a heartbreaker to now number 6 Lynchburg College. Roanoke led with 6:41 to play, but the Hornets sent the game to overtime and scored with 1:16 in the extra period to take the victory. Richard Lachlan and Coretti each scored 3, while Braden Geary finished with 2 goals off 2 shots. Geary also tied Satoski with ground balls with 6.
The women's lacrosse team currently sits at a record of 3-3. They're 1-0 within the ODAC and won their last 2 contests against Fitchburg State 17-10 and Wittenberg University 11-10. The Maroons were involved with a thriller on Sunday against Wittenberg as they trailed 8-4 with just inside the first minute of the second half. They outscored the Tigers 7-2 the rest of the way. Kathleen Wager scored the final 2 goals for Roanoke that game and netted 8 in the win over Fitchburg State. For those 2 performances, Wager was named ODAC Women's Lacrosse Player of the Week. This is the first time in her career that she has been garnered the weekly award.
Now, the Roanoke baseball team has started the season now with a record of 10-11. They fell earlier this evening, and they hold a 500 average in the ODAC as well, as they're 2-2 splitting contests with WNL and Virginia Wesleyan. Most recently, the Maroons returned from Virginia Wesleyan, where Mark Wimmer pitched a complete game in picking up his second win of the season. Mark Manthe went 2 for 5 with a team-best 4 RBIs, and Brian Kluge went 3 for 5 with 3 runs and a stolen base to pace the Maroons. Matt Wallman went 3 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI, while Ben Amos drew 2 walks and had a double and a triple with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored.
The softball team is off to a hot start with a record of 11-3, currently riding a 7-game winning streak. The team went 6-0 in the Ferrum Roanoke Invitational, outscoring their opponent 62-5 in the process. Aaliyah Bear led the Maroons with a batting average of .462, going 18 for 39 with 14 RBI and 14 runs. Kelly Higbee has started every game in the circle for Roanoke, putting up an ERA of 1.29 in her 87 innings. She's only given up 16 runs this season and struck out 53. Junior Leona Rainey was named ODAC Softball Player of the Week for the week ending March 13th. This is the 3rd time in as many years that she has earned the weekly honor. She went 16 for 21 during the tournament with 4 3-hit games. She knocked 2 doubles, a pair of triples, and cleared the fence twice while scoring 16 runs and driving in 11 others. She also stole 12 bases in 3 games.
Now moving on to track and field, the women's track and field team won their 8th ODAC Indoor Track and Field Championship at Liberty University. Carmen Graves, who was named the 2012 ODAC Women's Indoor Track and Field Athlete of the Year, broke the ODAC Championship meet record in the 800 meters with a time of 2:20:18. She also placed first in the 400 meters with a time of 58:78 and was second in the triple jump and 3rd in the long jump to lead the Maroons to another Indoor Track and Field ODAC Championship. She also finished 3rd in the finals of the 800-meter event at the NCAA Division III Indoor Track and Field Championships, as well as being named the USTFCCCA Division III South-Southeast Region Indoor Track Athlete of the Year.
Hope Flomo, Tony Duval, Sarawet, and Graves won the 4x400 meter relay event and came within a tenth of a second of breaking both the Roanoke and ODAC championship meet records. On the men's side, Gabe Gersh won the high jump at 5 foot 1 inch. One of the biggest highlights on the men's side was winning the 4x400 meter relay with Celeb Bedsaw, Colt Litton, Tucker Cunningham, and Chase Board.
And the women's tennis team is currently 7-2. They're 2-1 in the ODAC, and they've won their last 2 matches. On March 16th, the Maroons defeated Guilford 6-3, then blanked Emory and Henry in Roanoke's home opener. In the Emory and Henry meet, Laura Dodson won in the number 1 spot, winning in a tiebreak 4-6, 6-3, and 10-8 in the tiebreaker. Number 2, Corbin Leitch, and number 3, Jennifer Antozik, won their matches in straight sets, only giving up 1 game. Dodson and Leitch were victorious in doubles as well, winning 8-2 in their pro set. The teams of Lucy Webb and Jennifer Antozik and Brianna Carroll and Lauren Marzal won their contest 8-0 and 8-6 respectively.
I'll be right back with Roanoke College head men's lacrosse coach Bill Pilot.
Roanoke College, timeless and true, smart and solid, practical and professional, making discoveries about yesterday, creating visions for tomorrow, lifted by a winning college spirit, forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College, classic for tomorrow.
Welcome back to Mac and Bombs. I'm joined now with Coach Pilot. Coach, thanks for taking the time out of practice to come down and join us. Due to the weather, you guys had to bump practice back a little bit. After your Lynchburg game over the weekend, is there anything that you guys are really trying to work on in practice this week?
Well, we just want to get better as the season goes on. No matter what happens in the games, we want to improve and be a better team in May than we are in March and April. So we're just working on things to make us better, stick skills, putting in a couple new plays here and there, things like that. And we're trying to work on our shooting a little bit, getting some better shots, also trying to free up some guys for more shots just to create more offense. We're scoring at a pretty good clip, but we would like to score even more. So we're trying to increase our chances to score, and that'll give us more goals on the board.
Looking back at that Lynchburg game, obviously your team fell in overtime. What was that atmosphere like on a Saturday night under the lights at Kerr Stadium with nearly a capacity crowd?
It was great. It was a great event for our college. It was great school spirit. We really appreciate that. The students came out. The community came out. 2 great teams, really slugging it out, and great sportsmanship all across the board by both teams. Really appreciated that. And it was just a fun event to be part of. Unfortunately, it didn't end the way we wanted, but as an overall event and overall contest, the game was very well played, not many penalties. I thought both teams played very well, and they just came out on the top end. But it was a fun environment and a fantastic school spirit for Roanoke College.
This marks the midway point of your season, having played 7 games with 7 left to go, all conference games, I believe, looking over the schedule. Is there anything that you think that your team has done really well through the first half, and is there one thing that you think they need to improve on?
Well, we're still a pretty young team. We only have 6 seniors, so we're fairly young. We have no senior offensive midfielders, which is pretty good for the future. I think a couple things we've done well. We've competed hard, which is something I demand every practice and every game. And, we also want to really swarm on the ground balls. I think we're getting better and better at that. Facing off was an area of concern early, and we're kind of getting better each game. We're getting older, a little more experienced. I think team defense has been a plus. Our slides are pretty good. Our team concepts are pretty strong. And we've been spreading the ball around. A lot of guys are scoring. We don't have any one person with a huge amount of points. We have a bunch of guys with small points, which is what I kind of like. So I'm pretty pleased with the depth factor, and I think guys are settling in. And we really want to see the younger guys mature and learn more about our system and contribute more. And that's kind of a trademark of our program over the last few years. And if we can do that, we'll be successful.
Now, Satoski has won over 60% of his faceoffs. In the past, we've seen guys like Justin Suman like to win the ball ahead. Josh Raya and Greg Kanzani always rake it back. Do you think Satoski has one set style, or is he just able to step up to the X and just win it?
He has his own style, but he changes according to the opponent, which is really good, and it's really tough for a freshman. I think he's getting better every game. I think he's really competing hard. And then the other guys are pushing him too. We got some other guys in the wings that can push him. But, Max has really picked up his play, and that's going to help us down the stretch for sure.
Now, Rich Lackland and Jeff Keating have combined for over 40 goals this season. The third attack spot, we saw Mike Hayden in there a little bit last year. We saw Joey Coretti in last season. We've seen him this year. We've also seen Reed Mayberry come in off the bench. What do you make of the third attack spot, and who do you think plays best alongside your two All-Americans?
Well, each guy brings his own set of skills to the table, and they each give us some great things. So it kind of depends on the matchups and what kind of defense we're facing, things like that, man-to-man zone or pressing defense. And, Coretti we feel really good about. He's been putting up good points every game. And Joey's a great inside player. We've asked him to play a little bit outside, which is tough, but he's done quite well. And, Reed Mayberry's a lefty shooter. He's just a fantastic shooter, and we can put him in spots where he can get his hands free to can some shots, which he's been able to do. So that's a great thing as well. And Hayden has really needed a lot in the midfield, although I wouldn't rule out him going back to attack. And he's pretty versatile, as we know from last year. So I think we got we got the numbers. We also got some good young guys coming on too. Guernsey's playing real well. He's a sophomore. We got Colin Rosano's playing real well. He's a freshman. We also got Chad Smith back there and Seth Fortman, more freshmen that people don't even know yet. But I think they have bright futures ahead too if they keep working hard.
You have a bit of a luxury having two goalies that you've been able to put in the cage from the start. We've seen them both these past couple games. Is this week at practice an opportunity for one to grab the position by the horns, or do you think one already has?
A goalie is kind of like a quarterback, in football, and people like to settle on one and that kind of thing. But we take a different approach. It's more of a team approach here, and, whoever can help our team succeed in their goals is going to be in the cage. And, against Lynchburg, we did what no other team probably has ever done, and switch goalies every couple minutes and do some things like that. And when you have a good lefty and a good righty, it's like a pitcher, a lefty and a righty, can mess the shooters up. So I thought that helped us a little bit. And I'm not sure going forward, where we're going to be. Both guys are competing every day, and they both have a real good competitive edge over each other, and they're also great friends. And Gil Long's another great goalie too, who's definitely in the mix. And I'm just really glad that those guys are working hard every day, but I don't really know going forward who's going to be where. It kind of depends how they play and also our opponent.
Pilot, thanks so much for taking the time to come down and chat with us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with Roanoke Longstick Midi. Excuse me.
After Hobart had eliminated Roanoke from the NCAA tournament in 2 of the previous 3 seasons, Roanoke College finally got its chance for revenge and upended the hosting Panthers with a 1-point victory in the 1978 NCAA Division II Lacrosse Championship. In a game played before 4,200 fans at Hobart's Boswell Field, Roanoke jumped out to a 7-6 first-quarter lead, but Hobart bounced back with 5 goals in the second period to take an 11-9 lead at halftime. In the second half, the Maroons' defense stifled the high-octane Hobart attack and outscored the Statesmen 5-2 in the second half. With the game knotted at 13, head coach Paul Griffin ran a trick play to set up the winning goal. In the title game, John Sullivan made 18 saves. Over 3 games in the tournament, he stopped 43 shots and was named the tournament's most valuable player. 5 different players were named to the All-American squad. Roanoke completed that season with a 12-2 overall record, with the lone losses coming at the hands of Division I powers North Carolina and Towson.
Welcome back. I'm joined now with Mike Littner. Mike, we haven't seen you a lot this season. You've been out nursing an injury the past week or so. Could you tell us a little bit about what happened and how long you think you'll be out?
Last game I played in was the Dickinson game, and that's when the pain really started on set. But the adrenaline of that game, I was able to push through and finish. The next day it was pretty sore, and then I didn't really think too much of it. I just thought it was foot soreness or something, just from the running and the intensity of the game. But then come Wednesday game against Worcester, it was really painful. It hurt to cut everything. So right now I've been visiting the doctor. He thinks it's nothing too serious. He thinks we caught the injury early. So I'm hoping to be back within the next couple of weeks or so. So getting the MRI on Thursday, so that'll give us more of a timetable then. So I'm excited to get back, though.
The Lynchburg game seemed like an incredible atmosphere, at least up in the press box. What was it like for you being down on the sidelines?
It was actually probably one of the hardest experiences that I've ever had to do in my life. Watching my teammates go out there and fight against Lynchburg, who we just despise. It was brutal. I just tried to delegate myself to be the hype man on the sidelines, try and get the sideline up and create, as hostile as an atmosphere as possible. And, you got to thank the Roanoke College student body and local community for coming out and supporting us on a busy St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure I've never seen a crowd that big, or I would have loved to play in front of that. So,
now you come from Houston, Texas, where lacrosse is starting to grow. How did you originally get involved in the sport?
Well, my father played lacrosse at Cornell in the late 70s and early 80s, and he played at a big-time high school up in upstate New York, West Genesee, and he was kind of the one who kind of pushed me to play lacrosse. Once I got out of like Little League baseball and basketball, I just kind of wanted to find something new. And then so my dad would always take me out in the backyard and play catch with me and stuff. And I decided this is something I really wanted to do. Played on my first team going into the 7th grade, and I was hooked ever since. So, I mean, my little brother plays now. I've been kind of charged with kind of bringing him up, and it's always fun to go out and do what my dad did with me with him out in the backyard. So it's fun.
How did you get into playing long stick midi? Did you start as a midi and they gave you a long stick? Did you start as a defender and move up?
Kind of funny. I guess it was kind of like trying to be like Dad. I guess my dad was a long stick midfielder and defenseman in college as well. So I played short stick and long stick on and off through middle school. And then when I got to high school, we needed defensemen. So I oftenly joke, I stupidly said I would become a defenseman, because everyone likes the glory of scoring goals and everything, and obviously it's kind of lackey on the defensive end. But every once in a while, exactly. But every once in a while, I get my chance to run downfield and get a look at the goal or something like that. So
now, something we always ask our student athletes on the show is, what brought you to Roanoke? What made you want to play lacrosse for Coach Pilot at a small Division III school?
The schools I was looking at, were all Division III, East Coast schools, and I knew Coach Pilot was very, very good at what he does. The amount of All-Americans he coached, the amount of ODAC championships, and the amount of victories, it's actually unbelievable. And he's one of the longest tenured coaches I've ever heard of, in the nation for any sport. And, it's really fun to, be able to learn from a guy like that. And the lacrosse tradition is also something here that is different than all the other schools that I was looking at. So that's really what drew me to play lacrosse here.
When you got in and started playing here, was it intimidating for you to play right out there on the face-off alongside an All-American like Justin Tuma with a guy like Burkhead on the back line?
Absolutely, yeah. As a freshman, I remember before that St. Mary's game, I'll never forget that game. It was away at St. Mary's, hostile environment. I remember the students bringing their couches out onto the track right next to the sideline, and they're hooting and hollering at me, and my back was to them right on the first face-off, and all I could think to myself, was, this is college lacrosse for you, I guess. But it was very intimidating, and the seniors did a great job of leading us to this team, and I always joke with my friends back home that I was so spoiled to play on a team with such great leaders, and to make the Final Four as a freshman and actually play in the Final Four game, that was something incredible.
That was my next question for you, is where do you go from there? Coming in as a freshman, you start off by going to the Final Four. Has that lit some sort of fire? Does that give you a new goal to work towards?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone last year, amidst everything that happened, I think that everyone realized what we could do, when we rallied together, and we were able to accomplish as a team that was actually truly something special. And our goal is to get to that next step. We want to go to the national championship, and we want to win that national championship. There's only one way to go, and it's up. And anything less than at least Final Four appearance and ODAC championship is not acceptable. We're working hard to get back to where we were last year and hopefully go beyond.
Mike, thanks so much for taking the time
Thank
to chat
you.
with us. We really appreciate it. Richmond will be right back with softball alum Jess Seaman.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
We're back with Roanoke softball alum Jessica Zeman. First of all, welcome to the show.
Welcome. It's nice to be here.
Now, it's always nice for us to have local alumni come back and talk about their experience playing at Roanoke College. Now, you were a 4-year letter winner here at Roanoke College from 2007 to 2010, but from what I understand, you originally started at Radford from the 2005-2006 school year. What decision was it that made you want to transfer and come to school at Roanoke?
Well, my freshman year at Radford, I coached the JV team in Floyd. And at practice one day, one of the girls was like, "Coach Z, why are you practicing with us? Why aren't you playing college ball?" And I had been recruited by Roanoke, and some of my friends played here, so I just decided to come be a recruit, and I fell in love with it the first day and decided that, coming here would be a prestigious degree, and that made me come here.
That's great. Now, you hail from Southwest Virginia and from Floyd County, where you're a basketball and softball standout athlete for the Buffaloes. You're kind of quite the big fish at Floyd County High School. You had a 4.0 GPA, team captain of the district champion and regional runner-up teams for both sports. You talked with Brad Moore, our director of athletic communications, and you said that you were part of a special class that got to play in the new gym. What was the atmosphere like playing for such a strong basketball program at Floyd?
Being a part of a Buffalo sport in Floyd County, the community stands so strongly behind you because it's such a small place.
Absolutely.
And playing for the Kentrells, they have made that basketball program just what it is. If you haven't, in your 4 years playing there, if you didn't win a state championship or make it to a state championship, you were amongst the few. I think in Floyd, the community made everybody feel like a superstar. It was a very good feeling, and we were the first team that actually got to play in the new gym, and it was amazing.
Now, you posted quite the resume playing at Floyd. 3-time All-District and All-Region outfielder, 2-time All-Timeslin and All-State player. You were known for your quickness and steady leadership out on the field. When in high school did you really think that you wanted to play as a college athlete?
It was my sophomore year, my first year on varsity, and the season was over. And I was in class, and my assistant coach came to, asked me to come out, and he said that he had the year statistics. And he said, "Have you ever thought about playing college ball?" And I said, "Well, I've thought about it." And he said, "Well, if you haven't already, then you should now." And he showed me my stats. And I knew at that point that I could make it a reality. And ironically, his daughter actually played here at Roanoke, so it worked out really well.
Good. Now, when you came to Roanoke College, you were a slap hitter actually for your first 2 years. Then Mike Mitchell took over as head coach your junior year and switched your hitting style to more of a swing away type approach. It seemed to have paid dividends for you as you were named All ODAC for the first time in your career for the Maroons. A productive base stealer, led the team with 12 stolen bases and batted .351 in the year. That year, you led the women to their first ODAC tournament win since 2006 with a victory over Virginia Wesleyan. How gratifying was that season for you, and what made you want to come back for a fifth year?
Words can't describe that game. If you've ever been a part of a team, then you know exactly where I'm coming from. If you haven't been a part of a team, then it's like overcoming your biggest obstacle in life. It's something that, I don't know, it's just seeing my teammates cheer and everybody so happy. It's just something you'll never forget. As far as what made me come back, I knew that I would regret it if I didn't. It would always be playing the what ifs, and I was so fortunate to be blessed with such wonderful teammates for 4 years that I just couldn't imagine myself, since I was given the opportunity, not being able to follow through and see what happened. And ultimately, I wanted to win an ODAC championship.
Sure.
That's what I came back for.
I was a student athlete in college, and I've still got a year of eligibility, and I still wish that I had the opportunity to take that final year of eligibility. Now, in that fifth year as a senior in 2010, you were a team captain for the second straight year and led the Maroon softball program to a 30-9 record, which was the first 30-win season since the 2006 season and the 11th in program history. It was quite the swan song for you as you enjoyed 8 multi-hit games, batting .364, and had 3 hits in your final ODAC tournament. Looking back on your career, what were some of the most memorable moments at Roanoke?
Obviously, the ODAC game that we won last year, but I think when Carrie Whitney got inducted into the Hall of Fame, it was my 5th year. Seeing that she was the first softball player, seeing the accomplishments that she had made, and the presentation they put on, it was right before ODACs. It was very, very inspiring. And she also wrote a letter to us, before the games and stuff. And just knowing that you had such a strong alumni support for a program was amazing. Spring break, my second year here, we went to Orlando. That was memories we'll always remember. And just being a part of such a great team.
Now, after college, you've been working in law enforcement since graduation in 2010 and have worked at both Floyd County Sheriff's Office and now the Virginia State Police. Can you tell us what your job entails and what your future career endeavors are moving forward?
Well, I am a crime analyst for the Virginia State Police. Can't really tell you all that I do, but my future career goals are I just got accepted into St. John's University in New York City, and I'm going to get a master's in criminology. And hopefully, since I work now, I was a dispatcher at Floyd County, so working for the local government, moving on up to the state government, hopefully I can get a good federal job.
Sure, absolutely.
And if I couldn't get a good job that last year, then I'm already in their program, so I could go into law school. So there's options.
Sounds like a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, we certainly appreciate having you on the show tonight, and we always love when the alumni come on, and we hope that you can come back and talk to us again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in just one moment with Mike Mitchell. Stay with us.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac and Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
And we're back with softball coach Mike Mitchell. Now, first, Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me on tonight.
Now, this is your first appearance on the show talking about the softball team, but it hasn't been the first time that we've talked about the softball team. The Maroons are off to another great start and have won their last 7 games and are 11-3 on the season so far. What have you seen in the team this year that's different from last spring?
I don't think it's really anything that's different from the team. Each team has its own personality, and this team has come together. We only have 12 players, so I think they've come together as a group, and they understand the importance of team, doing things that's best for the team. Individuality is not an issue this year. With such few, they've got to back each other up, and with the small numbers, that's what has really come into play this year.
Now, talking about those small numbers, that's one of the major differences from last year to this year. How different is your approach with the team dealing with a shorter roster than what you've had to in the past?
Well, it's a whole lot easier for me not to mess things up. We don't have as many players. So there's not as many decisions. Game day as is.
Sure.
My job is to develop it, prepare, and so they make great decisions on the game and let them play. That's what we've always done for 4 years. Whether it's 12 or 24 players, we teach them how to play the game, and then they go out and play it. We have to cut back on what we do in practice to protect players. We only have one pitcher right now that's healthy. So we had to develop a plan for her to go into. But it's not any more different as far as the way we approach as a coach. It's just we just cut back a little bit on what we have to do.
Can you talk a little bit about the pitching in general? You have got one pitcher, and she's been doing fantastic this season.
She is phenomenal. I have to credit Rick Anderson went out. We were looking for some pitchers. We knew we was going to lose quite a few pitchers from last year's team with a lot of experience. We was expecting to have a couple of our upperclassmen back who had a lot of innings logged, and things didn't work out for them to come back. So Rick Anderson went out and found us a pitcher. We didn't realize what we had until she took the mound.
Sure.
She throws like a senior. Nothing bothers her. Her work ethic is phenomenal. It was a great find, and we just got real lucky with the type of player that we had. She's tough.
Now, you've got a strong group of upperclassmen as well that have been a great spark for you this season. Senior captains Felice Lowry and Catherine Curry have provided great leadership on and off the field, while juniors Aaliyah Beer, Leona Rainey, and Holly Warlittner have boasted the team with a solid performance all season. Can you tell us a little bit about these players and what they've meant to the guidance of the team this season, and more specifically the underclassmen this season?
Felicia Lowry, all we asked for her was to continue to do what she's been doing since she was a freshman. She's an RBI machine. She's a team leader. She's always in that catching position. You've got to be a leader. And from the day that she stepped on the field as a freshman, she demonstrated she had that ability. So she's not doing anything different than what she has done in the past. It's a great job. Catherine has stepped in the spotlight a little bit this year more. She platooned her first 3 years, but this year we went to her and said, hey, you have actually got to step it up. She was probably the key in our cog right now, what we were going to do. If she stepped up her game and brought another level to her game, we were going to be successful. And that's exactly what she has done. She has stepped it up to a whole new level and is playing phenomenal. She's hitting .417, I believe, on the year, leading our team. Her and Aaliyah are leading the team in batting average, so you couldn't ask for any more. You're not going to find a more competitive person in KK on our team. But we've got two others, Leona and Aaliyah. You're not going to outwork them. Leona is an All-American, so that's enough talent level there. And Aaliyah, you're not going to outwork her. Anything that she sets her mind to, she's going to be successful. Even outside of softball, she's going to be successful what she does just because her mindset, her work ethic, and her determination. You can't beat it. And Holly is just a talent. She can show up and get out of the car with her tennis shoes on and hit 500 or 600. She's phenomenal too. She's a talent.
Seems like a lot of great qualities to be spread out with. Again, having such a small team, a lot of great qualities spread out amongst all of the players that you have. Now, the Guilford Quakers are next on the schedule for your team as you open ODAC play tomorrow afternoon on the road in Greensboro. After having 9 days off, you had the Fair Roanoke Invitational, and then moving on, just a very long break. Do you feel the girls are ready to get back into action in the final half of the season?
Lord, yeah. When we made the schedule last year, I looked at the schedule and I was like, oh my goodness, we got a big lull there. What are we doing? Well, now we only have 11 ball players. We had one player just coming back from an injury, and it couldn't be any better because now it gives us time to work on a few things. It gives Kelly a chance to rest a little bit. With that 9 days off, we worked on a few things that we needed to take care of that we got to see. We played Salisbury twice, which was 7th in the country, so they showed some of the weaknesses that we need to work on, so we got to go to work and practice. Now we open up the ODAC. Now, the ODAC is keeping me up at nights. It's a phenomenal conference. The competition is probably one of the best in the country right now at this time. So we're going to find out where we set against Guilford because I'm going to be quite honest. All the coaches, we talk among ourselves, and we're like, we don't know what to expect. There's no clear-cut number one in our conference.
Sure.
So it's pretty good. The last 2 years, number 8 seed has won it, then the number 6 seed won it. So we're all let's just get into the tournament. You never know what's going to happen.
Right in the middle of March Madness, it's exactly the same in ODAC softball.
Yep, you're right. You're not lying there.
Well, Coach, good luck against Guilford tomorrow, and hopefully we can have you on again towards over the next couple episodes to see how it's going.
All right, let me know.
We'll be back in just one moment with softball senior captain Catherine Curry. Stay with us.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
The well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you're primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
And we're back with softball senior captain Catherine Curry. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And that special shout out to Brad and Reed for picking those wonderful pictures of me to put up there on the advertisement.
Yeah, as we saw in the intro video, you are a member of the Roanoke softball team. How has your role as a senior captain matured you during the fall and preseason to prepare for the spring?
I think something that was different being a captain is just making sure I'm on my P's and Q's all the time, making sure I'm setting a good role model, being a good example for the younger girls who don't really know the ins and outs of Roanoke softball yet. Trying to be a leader on and off the field. I had a busy fall semester with policy and a job, and then, with this season and showing girls that, you can have a social life and time management. And, again, just being a role model, I think, is the biggest part. So.
Now, as a senior in high school at Patrick Henry near Richmond, Virginia, you wanted to continue playing softball in college. What was it about Roanoke College that sparked your interest and had you attend college and your playing career here in a Division III school?
To be completely honest, I had no interest in coming to Roanoke the first time I received any information from them. And my little brother had a local tournament around here, and my parents convinced me, let's just go look at the campus, let's go try it out, and took a tour of the campus and just absolutely fell in love with it. I'm from a small town, and same kind of atmosphere. Met a bunch of the girls and just clicked really well with them. So I knew I wanted to come here after the first tour.
Sure. Now, you've stayed within the realm of athletics while a student working for the Richmond Squirrels minor league baseball team this past summer. You've also worked with Director of Athletic Communications Red Moore as a marketing intern for Roanoke Athletics. Did you know that you wanted to work in athletics when you came here, or is it just something that kind of came to you over the past year?
I knew I always wanted to do something with athletics. I didn't really get into the marketing until the past 2 years that I found out that I really enjoyed it and really had a love for it. Again, I've always been involved in sports and around sports, so I'm comfortable in that area. And then came in, was in the business department, and really enjoyed marketing, and so that's kind of what led me into the sports marketing category.
And we get to see kind of all of what you all do on a daily basis, and it seems like you all have a fairly good time in the work that you do.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a bunch of kids, and Brad's a good guy to work for, and we have a good time, and it's really good. When I worked with the Squirrels, I got to see behind the scenes a lot of what goes on, and then working in this department, you get it's hands-on experience, and I get to actually do this. So, great experience applying for jobs this semester and everything. So I really enjoyed it.
Sure. Now, you're a very well-rounded student athlete as well. You just completed your policy class in addition to a heavy class load in the fall semester, in addition to working as the marketing intern for the Maroons Athletic Department since August. And now with softball season here and applying for jobs this semester, you still carry quite a heavy schedule. What lessons or experiences have you learned from the most in your final school year here at Roanoke College?
A lot about time management. Again, my fall semester was pretty crazy, and just making sure that I knew what I needed to get done. And honestly, I had more free time than I thought just by spacing my time out. Also, that hard work pays off. It's great. I work with Sarah Caudill. She's also a marketing intern, and when we put on events for games, and when it goes smoothly, it's a great rewarding feeling. And I've also learned that you got to do what you enjoy. The stuff that I do for the athletic department, technically, it's work, but I enjoy it, so it's not really a chore or anything like that. So that's a couple of things that I really picked up.
Makes work a whole lot easier.
Absolutely.
Way. Now, your leadership and hard work has seemed to pay off as the Maroons softball program is off to a great start. You're 11-3,
yep.
Including a 7-game win streak that you're currently on. Broken up between a couple of the canceled games there on spring break.
Yep.
6-0 in the Roanoke Valley Softball Bash, March 9th through 11th, with a 9-day layoff since your last contest, and ODAC opening doubleheader at Guilford coming tomorrow. What do you see in this team this year that you're pretty proud of?
This team has a lot of heart, probably the most that I've had the 4 years that I've been here. Felicia and I, the other senior, we joke that we're just a scrappy team. You look at us, we're just scrappy, but it's a bunch of girls that love to play the game. If you come to our practices or watch our pregame, we're not really super intense. We're not like that kill thing, but we're kind of a loosey-goosey team. We have fun, but when it's time for when it's game time, somehow we flip that switch and we seem to get it done. And just a lot of unity on this team. There's not really any me's. Nobody's looking for each other. I don't feel like anybody feels like they're competing for a spot. Everybody roots for each other, and it makes it a fun atmosphere to play in.
Do you find with a smaller team it's easier to kind of have a more of a, I don't know, a collective or a family dynamic between the small group of you?
I think so. Just the dynamic of this group, and not to mention, I loved having a big team too, but as most people know, if you put 24, 25 girls in one small area, stuff tends to happen. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but again, I can't say enough about the heart of this team. They just, the will to win is pretty incredible. So
now with your career almost coming to an end in just over a month, what moments playing for softball for Roanoke College do you stand out to you the most?
Oh, wow. I remember we actually didn't win this game, but it was probably one of the funnest games I've ever played in, was Lynchburg College in the ODAC tournament my freshman year. We played 14 innings or so. We ended up losing, but again, it was a great game. We've beaten Salisbury a couple times, and that's always fun to beat a ranked team. But I have to say, when I look back, I'm sure what I'm going to remember most is just the good times that I've had with my teammates. I've made some lifelong friends here, and I know that, and gotten to know some great people, and just like you said earlier, like having like a family atmosphere, just knowing that I was a part of a family here for 4 years.
And a lot of games left to be played for the rest of the season, just now starting the ODAC tournament. What are there any games that you're looking forward to coming into this final part of the season?
I'm looking forward to all of them. I don't know, just something about senior year, I don't know, it's crazy to think that my career's over. We always have good games. Lynchburg, no matter what the score is, it's always a rival. You can always feel the intensity. The 4 years that I've been here, EMU has become a real big rival. I'll definitely be looking forward to that. And the 4 years that I've been here, we haven't really done much in the ODAC tournament, so really looking forward to when we get to that. I think we'll do some damage this year. I think people underestimate us, and I think that's good. I think we'll come out with a bang, so looking forward to it.
Good. Well, KK, thanks for joining us on the show. Good luck tomorrow
Thank you.
In your game, and everybody go out and catch the women's softball team when you get a chance. So we'll be back in just one moment with Director of Communications for the City of Salem, Mike Stevens. Stay with us.
Roanoke College. Timeless and true. Smart and solid. Practical and professional. Making discoveries about yesterday. Creating visions for tomorrow. Lifted by a winning college spirit. Forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College. Classic for tomorrow.
Welcome back to Mac and Bob's and Tuesday Night Live.
Wait a minute, where'd you get those pictures? That's my question.
You're going to have to talk to Brad Moore on that one. Mike, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the different jobs that you've had and where you're at now?
Actually, only 3 jobs since I got out of college, which is pretty unusual. I worked in radio at K92 for a couple years as sports director. Then I went to Channel 7 for over 23 years, and now I've been with the City of Salem since just about the end of 2005. So 3 jobs, 50 years old, so that's not too bad.
No, not at all. And it all started at Virginia Tech with your bachelor's degree. What made you want to go down and become a Hokie?
Man, that's an interesting question. I mean, I knew I wanted to be a broadcaster or do sports my entire life. Loved playing it, but really wanted to continue talking about it when I was too slow and too fat to do it. So I really enjoyed doing it, but had no idea how to do it, and really went to Tech, even though it wasn't the best communications fit for me, because it was farther away from my hometown of Stanton than JMU was. So I went there and got a great experience and was real fortunate to get a job at K92, which at the time was the most listened to station by audience share in the entire United States. So I was working with some guys that were so much better than I was, but they taught me a lot. And I was tried to be humble and kind of soak it in, and so I think that really helped me in the long run.
Now, from the radio, you made the transition up to TV. What got you your start at WDBJ?
It was really funny. John Kernan was the sports director at Channel 7, and he had been doing a lot of NASCAR work, and they decided they wanted to expand the sports department from 2 to 3 people. I went over and auditioned, had no TV experience, and was hired by a gentleman named Jim Shaver, and I was just very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time.
Now, at WDBJ, you had the chance to work with someone who most of us know. We call him Steve Mason.
Oh, yeah.
Mason, now a goalie coach out at practice at Kerr Stadium as we speak. What could you tell us about Mr. Mason?
Mason interned with me at Channel 7. I covered him when he was at Roanoke College, and we ended up hiring him after John Kernan left to go work full-time with ESPN. So Kernan left, Mason comes in, and kind of the rest is history. Just probably one of the most genuine people that you'll ever meet, one of the hardest working people. And Mason always had a way of keeping things in perspective. He had a lot of success in his career as an athlete and also as a broadcaster, but he was the one that would come to work every day, and he would say, look, there are only 2 kind of people in this world. Those who are humble and those about to get humbled. So keep that in mind. So I'm sure you got that from being a goalie, and it's good advice in life no matter what you do.
You have some other interesting connections here at Roanoke, as you knew Paige Moyer before he even started coaching here.
I did. Paige and Jody Moyer, they were both at Virginia Tech when I was there, and Paige was a player when Virginia Tech was in the old Metro Conference, and I remember Paige on the team, and when he would get in, Paige didn't play a whole lot, but when he would get in, everybody would get all excited, the fan base would, and then I had the good fortune of being able to be here when the baton was passed, so to speak, although Ed Green was the coach at the time and left. But at the news conference to announce Paige's hiring here, his dad, Charlie, was there with him to kind of complete the circle, and Coach Moyer here leading them to the 1972 National Championship. So it was great to know Paige and to follow him as he's gone along and done such a great job here.
And you also followed Roanoke head lacrosse coach Bill Pilot.
Right.
I know we're working our way up to the present
We're working
day.
it. We are. And Bill Pilot was – you know how smart he is now as a coach. He was a brilliant player, very intelligent, and way above the competition he played. And I think that's why he was so successful at an All-American. He was just a brilliant player, really a thinking man's goalie, if you can be that. I know it's based on reaction, but he really outthought a lot of his opponents, I believe that, and he did a great job. And so, again, another guy that, although he's not that much younger than I am, at least I like to say that, it was nice to be able to see him progress. And, look at what he's done. I mean, even last year, incredible coaching job.
Oh, absolutely. Are there any other big-name stories from Roanoke that stand out to you?
Oh, my gosh. There's probably so many
college?
stories that I've been over here and so many things that I've seen over the year involved with athletics. It's just it'd be hard to go back and try to grab 3 or 4 of them. But we've had some great times here, myself and the staff at DBJ when I was there. I can remember coming over here and doing a number of stories with Coach Dunnigan and Roy Stanley and I, and it would just be one comedy event after another with her. But there have been some great things over the years with a lot of the coaches here. John Pirro, Ed Green, Scott Allison, many of the people I've had the pleasure of working with.
You had mentioned that you always wanted to cover sports. What
Right.
was it like for you to get that opportunity to go on TV at night and be under the lights talking about sports like you'd wanted to do?
I think if you don't get nervous when you do it, something's wrong. And you want that butterfly thing because I think it kind of keeps you on edge. But I think it really hit me when I was at some big events. When you're standing on the field at an NFC championship game and the Redskins just beat the Vikings, so they just took down the Cowboys.
Now you're really showing your edge.
Yeah, but things like that, it really hits you. And, being at the Daytona 500 or the Olympic trials for basketball, things like that, you realize you're standing there with these guys that you've kind of idolized, and you have a free pass just because you're a reporter. So I think all that was pretty neat to finally realize that it worked the way you thought it did back in junior high school.
Did you like TV better than radio?
I did. I liked TV the best. I think it gave me an opportunity to kind of show more personality. Although I really liked doing radio and liked doing what I did, it really, without it, I don't think I could have made it, because I think good television people either spend some time in radio or they begin there, because you have to ad-lib all the time and talk. So it teaches you how to communicate. And there are a lot of people on television right now, as you notice, probably watching local news, that really don't speak very well. They stumble a lot, and I think if they had that experience in radio, it would help them in the long run.
After you kind of got out of the TV world with WDBJ,
Right.
You ended up staying in the TV world. What are you doing now?
Well, I don't do a lot of TV work, but I do handle the government access channel for the city of Salem. I do their website work. I do their magazine, all their press releases for both the city and the school. And it's been a great transition for me, but I'll give you a good example of how excitement is relative depending on your age and the stage of your career. I'm 50 years old now, and Virginia Tech was getting ready to go to a bowl game in New Orleans this past year to play Michigan. And everybody's like, man, are you missing that? Don't you wish you were in New Orleans going to the bowl game? I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm doing a video on cat licensing over here in the city of Salem. That's excitement, man. That's excitement. So it really seems like how you could go from all that, sports excitement down to doing something that menial to a lot of people. But to me, it's video, it's production, it's a job, and I enjoy it, especially at this stage. People have a real hard time believing that after 25 years of going to nothing but game after game after game, I have not been to one game in 4 years since I quit that job.
Do you have any desires? Do you think the desire will come back to get back into sports?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I write columns still, a monthly column for Play by Play magazine. I do some fill-in radio occasionally and things like that. But that's it for me. I mean, I don't need any more, and especially in Salem, with all the events we have with the NCAA, with the Stag Bowl, and the basketball championship that just wrapped up this past weekend, there's enough sports for me that I don't have it all the time, but I have enough just to kind of keep my feet wet.
Mike, we really appreciate you taking the time to come down and chat with us tonight. It was really a pleasure.
My pleasure, and you guys do an absolute phenomenal job. I have been absolutely just blown away by the production of this.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with women's lacrosse senior defender Liz Harchie.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
Welcome back to Mac and Bob's. I'm joined now with Liz Harchie. Liz, you've been a part of 2 ODAC championship games, winning the title back in 2009 as a freshman, further advancing the NCAA tournament, and started each of the past 3 seasons. But is there one memory or one game that stands out to you from your time at Roanoke?
Yeah, there's actually a couple. The first one was when I got my first start, and we were in St. Croix on spring break, and we played Mary Washington. And it was torrential downpours, awful weather conditions to play, but we probably played our best game. I got the start. I think one of my players was injured, and just the whole atmosphere. We had there were St. Croix kids there, and they were cheering us on. It was such a great game to get my first start in. Then also when we played Lynchburg last year and beat them in the semifinals for ODACs, as well as the game that we beat WNLN for ODAC finals. That was probably one of the best games.
Now, you were named captain this year for the program. Really responsible position, comes with obviously a lot of respect from your coach and your teammates, but what does it mean to you to be named captain?
It was such an honor to have Coach tell me that I was captain this year. Being the only captain, it's a pretty tough job. No, not tough, but it's a lot of work, and the girls really respect me, and if they ever goof off or are not on their game, I can reel them back in, and they respect me for that, and they really look up to me, and they look up to all of our upperclassmen.
Now, you hail from Maryland, which is really a state known for its lacrosse. When did you start having a stick in your hand?
I think my brother introduced lacrosse to me probably when I was 8 or 9, but I didn't start playing until I think I was in 2nd grade, and I just fell in love with it then and have been playing ever since.
What made you choose to come down here to Roanoke, and did you always know that you wanted to play lacrosse at a collegiate level?
I had I didn't really even apply to Roanoke until really late in the college application process, and then obviously didn't come down and look because it wasn't on my radar, and then I got in, so I came down for Accepted Students Day and absolutely loved the campus. I don't even think I had gotten in touch with Coach Schwartz until I found out that I got in here and got in contact with her, and she met me for lunch, and really liked her a lot, so I came out, and she was like, would you like to be a part of the team? I was like, of course, yeah, I'd love to.
The team has returned to 500 this season after your really exciting 1-goal win over the weekend. You guys have some momentum going into the game against Washington and Lee. Could you tell us, are there any other games in the schedule that you have circled that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely tomorrow night's game. It's going to be a huge game. We're going to come out hard. We're going to really give them a good game. And also next Wednesday when we play Lynchburg, they're another big rival of ours, and definitely going to give them a run for their money as well.
Now, last week, or rather not last week, the week before was spring break. Some of us are still recovering physically, mentally, financially from spring break. You guys took your trip down to Puerto Rico. How was that?
It was amazing. It was so much fun. We had early practices, and we're on the beach or by the pool probably by like 11 or 12 a.m. and just basking in the sun.
Sounds like a pretty good week off.
Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. Liz, thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. I'll be right back with women's lacrosse head coach Mary Schwartz.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
Welcome back to Mac and Bob's, Coach. Thanks so much for coming down. Welcome to the show for the first time this spring. Now, you come back from a relaxing trip from Puerto Rico over spring break, as we just talked to Liz about. We have some footage from our sports information director, Brad Moore, asking you about the trip. Let's go take a look at that.
All right, I'm here with head women's lacrosse coach Mary Schwartz. Mary, can you tell us about the clinic that you did with the kids on Sunday when you got here to Puerto Rico?
We had an opportunity set up with Peter Sauer. They were going to bring some of the local middle school and high school kids in that have never seen lacrosse or played lacrosse, so the girls would have an opportunity to just kind of show them their skills and just kind of get to see what the culture's like and just to interact with the young kids. We split up. There were about 30 of the local school kids and boys and girls, and we just kind of grouped them up with some of the girls on our team, and they just got to introduce them to the game. They let them play with the sticks, and at the end we let them shoot on the goalies. It was a lot of fun.
Tell me about the trip that you guys have planned tomorrow to go to Old San Juan. Are you looking forward to that, and are the girls looking forward to that as well?
We are. One of the girls on our team, Lauren Curtin, who's a freshman goalie, she actually went to Puerto Rico, went to Old San Juan, and so we were talking to her a little bit about it. Real interested in just seeing the history there. We're hoping to get an opportunity, to just kind of get a tour around so that the girls can bring that back. I know one of the girls on the team is going to get extra credit for her Spanish class by going down there. But the kids are real excited because this trip is all about seeing the different cultures, and that's what we've been able to experience on this trip.
Tell me a little bit about your team and who you've noticed have been surprised with or seen great improvements with just at the beginning of the year for 2 games. And
I think a couple of kids that stand out. Lexi Germany, who's a freshman from Long Island, she's really started to develop and come into her own as a defender. Dara Everts is just a standout. She just keeps getting better and better. She doesn't even play like a freshman out there. And Stephanie Vogel, who's a junior, and she got her first start in the Salisbury game, and she's somebody who's just been working really hard, and she's just kind of, I think, fallen into a leadership role out there.
Welcome back to Mac and Bob's. After the video, Coach, is there anything that you can add regarding the spring break trip? Everybody looks tan. Everybody looks like they had a good time.
It was just a great trip to bring the team together. I think anytime we go on a spring break trip, when we start off, I think, the freshmen are still getting to know the upperclassmen. We put them in close quarters, and they're either going to get along or not get along. And I think when we left, it was just the right amount of time. They really got to know each other, and it just kind of, kicked off, I think, going into the rest of the season.
After dropping a hard-fought contest in Puerto Rico to number 16 Mary Washington, 11-9, your team flew back to Baltimore and had to play a day later against Stevenson in the first game at their brand-new Mustang Stadium. What was it like for you guys to play in that new stadium? I was there last spring as it was being built. It just looks incredible.
It was an incredible stadium. It was their first home game, so there was a lot of hype. They came out and had a nice little show to put on before they came out with the captains. They ran through the tunnel. So we were really trying to focus on ourselves, but it was a neat venue to play in. I thought it was pretty special for the girls. It was the temperature difference from coming from Puerto Rico to Stevenson. I think it was about a 40-degree drop, and I think that really affected the kids as the game went on.
After taking on nationally ranked opponents in Salisbury, Mary Washington, and Stevenson to open the year, you hosted the first game of the season at home against Fitchburg State, a new opponent for the program coming from Massachusetts. Your team victorious on Tuesday with a 17-10 score to earn their second win of the spring. Did you see a different team this week than you had before spring break?
Yes, and because we're starting to put things together. I think the whole beginning of the season, I knew that we were going to be young. We had a lot of different people in different spots out on the field. I knew that we could take those games, and then once we got into the games that we were going to be comfortable with, that we would start putting things together. And I think the Fitchburg State game, we started to get our attack organized. Our defense started to run the things that we've been trying to work on, from the beginning of preseason. And it started to come together. It was still a struggle, but it wasn't until the second half that we started to open it up.
Now, on Sunday, you guys took on Wittenberg in what was probably the best game we've seen all season, a one-goal dramatic win. Could you tell us about how your team played in that one?
Well, the first half, we struggled a little bit. We still were trying to figure it out. I think Wittenberg came out and they took control of the game. We, had a lot of costly turnovers, and being down 7-4, I know the halftime speech, when I went and talked to them, I was like, girls, we're not down by a lot, and we can come back, but it's got to be one goal at a time, and we have to be disciplined. And when we came out in the second half, that really started to show. They started to run the attack that we had asked them to run. The defense started to pick it up, and it really was one goal at a time. And then when we got the tying goal, I remember I was like, if we can just get this go-ahead goal, that we're gonna take this game. And when we got the go-ahead goal, I know there was 5 minutes left in the game, and that's when we started to go into stall. And the kids did a great job.
Now, tomorrow you take on another nationally ranked opponent, number 13, Washington and Lee. What's the game plan like going up to Lexington to face the Generals?
Today we had to dodge the lightning bolts to get out to get a practice in, but I know Washington Lee was able to scout our game on Sunday, and a lot of the plays we ran, what we've been doing the past couple days, is just trying to change them up a little bit, and we're hoping to catch them off guard and maybe throw a couple surprises in against them because they're a young team too. I think really it can be anybody's game. I mean, we both have freshman goalies that have started some games. They graduated, I think, 6 starters. We graduated 6 starters from last year's team, and I think it could be anybody's game. It just depends on who steps out on the field, and it could be half to half. So we're excited about it. The kids are real excited, and the freshmen really don't know what to expect going into. It's like this is a big game, and so I'm hoping that they step up.
The ODAC calendar getting into a full swing now. Obviously, Washington and Lee a big game. You guys have Lynchburg next week. Do you think one of those is bigger than the other?
I think they're both big. I think, they're probably the top 2 big games that we have coming up in the ODACs. Lynchburg, I know they have a lot that they're probably thinking about when stepping out in the field against us after we took that game away from them last year in the semis. And WNL is just always that team that, they have that winning tradition, and you just got to knock them off. So, they're the next 3 games we have coming up are, I think, our top 3 ODAC games.
Mary, thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you for having us.
Richmond will be right back with Dave Sampson for our Meets of the Week.
Roanoke College. Timeless and true. Smart and solid. Practical and professional. Making discoveries about yesterday. Creating visions for tomorrow. Lifted by a winning college spirit. Forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College. Classic for tomorrow.
And we're back with strength and conditioning coach Dave Sampson for what I've been told is our final meets of the week.
I'm a little sad. That's why I'm wearing black tonight. I'm in mourning.
Representing Mac and Bob's. We've got our very professional sheets here. We're going to have Sampson sign them. We'll sell them off somehow. We'll make big money off of them. All right, we got a lot of things to cover. Where do you want to start?
I know we don't have. Do you have graphics ready yet?
We are ready with graphics.
Let's start up top. Can we start with men's lacrosse? Is that all right, guys?
men's lacrosse. We've got 2 nominees for meets of the week.
First up, Rich Lachlan, our friendly man north of the border from Canada, along with Braden Geary, also Canadian. Let's talk a little bit about Rich. He's been getting it done game in and game out at attack this year. He's scored in every one of the games as well as assisted. So he's done all the true blue collar, what I like to call the meat of the week work, and he's got it done. He rides, he plays defense incredibly hard when the ball gets turned over. So that's why Rich is up there. Braden, one of my favorite kids from Canada, favorite kids on the team as well. He's done a lot of different things for us. Came to us as a midfielder. He was switching over to a long stick mini. Now he's playing close D. The kid's a virtual ground ball machine. If it's on the ground and Braden's near it, he's going to pick it up, and that in itself denotes a blue-collar worker, a meat of the week. But Braden's up there this week from our last game at Lynchburg. Although we did not win, the guys played hard. So I think it's the best effort we've had this year. We just need to do a couple little extra things to get us over the top. But Braden, as a close defenseman, had 2 goals in the game. And that's just he had a good ground ball night. He played excellent defense, and he put 2 points on the board, which is just you can't ask the kid to do any more, so it goes out to Braden this week.
Braden getting the meat of the week. That was a heartbreaker of a loss, too.
That's a tough one. You hate to – I think we had him beat. We just I feel like we gave that one away.
10-9 with about 5 minutes to go. Took it to overtime. Now we're going to move on to women's lacrosse, and interesting nominee here for me of the week.
I've nominated the entire team because these girls have put up with me in their preseason and in the first part of their season. They've taken quite a bit of physical and mental abuse on the turf, on the hill. So I'm really proud of them. Their season's really coming together for them. The hard work in the weight room as well as with me on the turf is really paying off. And I didn't put down a winner on here. I kept that kind of close to the breast for me. And I'm giving it to Norwich.
All right.
The poor girl has been hurt just about her entire career here, and yet she's powered through everything, and she's on the field playing. So, Nar, thumbs up to you. I'm really proud of you. I'm glad good things are happening for the entire team, but really especially for her.
2 big wins. 2 big wins at home recently. It's been kind of exciting to watch them.
Absolutely. I'm excited for them, and they got a big game tomorrow night up in Lex Vegas. They're playing the Lady Generals of Washington and Lee University, which, that's always a big game, big rivalry between Roanoke and W&L. So I'm really expecting big things from them. I think this is a year that we knock that ugly blue and white off their shiny white pedestal.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they're ranked. So it'll be,
they're ranked all right. I'll give you that. They are.
All right, we're going to move on to baseball, where we have 3 nominees for meat of the week.
Let's go through them real quick. We got Tyler Grouton. We got Jake Clifton and Matt Wallman. Big applause for the baseball team. They're probably off to their best start ever. With big wins against Washington and Lee, Virginia Wesleyan, and 11th ranked Alvernia. The guy I'm giving the meat of the week to is a past winner. And oddly enough, he's not on the board right now. I kind of kept this one a secret as well. I'm giving it to Mark Manthe with a walk-off home run to win the game against 11th-ranked Alvernia.
We were there. We were broadcasting the game. That was an impressive.
That's what it's all about. That's doing the dirty work and reaching down deep and just snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. And Mark's done it before, and I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of all the guys on the baseball team. They're off to a great start, and I think this is the year we make the All-Deck tournament and make some ripples.
Two-out home run for Mark Manthe earns him meat of the week. Let's go ahead and move on to softball now.
Softball got 3 nominees this week. Kay Manuel, our transfer in. Leona Rainey, a perennial meat of the week nominee, our second-team All-American from last year. And the one I affectionately refer to as Flea, our catcher. She's an athletic training major, be graduating this year. She's a senior. The girls are currently 11-3, riding a 7-game win streak, and they won the Roanoke Valley Softball Bash
6-0
this past weekend. They're off to one of their better starts ever. I happened to watch the first half of their inning against, I believe it was Grace College. I'd laughed because if it would have been a fight, they would have stopped it. I saw Grace get one out against us, and the rest of it, we spent the rest of the inning just beating the ball around the infield, outfield, and over the fence. I saw Flea Trucker Girl at third base, so that's why I'm giving it to her.
Absolutely.
She put her shoulder down and just crushed the girl on third base, and it's what the meet's all about.
Gotcha.
And Flea does the dirty work. She's a catcher, so she's gritty by nature. So my hat's off to her, and I'm proud of her. So she gets the meat of the week.
Anytime you can go in a tournament and take a couple teams out before 7 innings.
Absolutely, that's great, and they've got a track record of doing that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and move on to women's track and field. We've got 3 nominees, at least 3 nominees on the board. I don't know if you're keeping any more secret from us.
I'm not ready to disclose
All
that.
right.
I could be. I'm not going to let it out of the bag just yet. First up, our freshman sprinter, Hope Flomo, which if you were on our website today, you saw a picture of her barreling down the track in the 100 meters. Carmen Graves and the ever-popular Liz Bransky. To tell you a little bit about both of them, Hope won the 100 and 200 meters. Liz finished second in all 3 throws and set a personal best in the hammer at 134 feet, which in itself is impressive. And I'm sure this is no surprise. Carmen is probably I believe she's a 4-time winner, including tonight. She finished 3rd in the country in indoor. And to me, more impressively, she ran the 400-meter hurdles for the first time in her career and set a school record. So my question to Carmen is there anything you can't do? She does it all in the soccer field, and by gosh, she's starting to do it all on the track.
Tennis team's having a pretty good season already. They could just throw her in and make it even better, maybe.
I guarantee she'd win on athleticism alone. I believe she could probably win at doubles by herself. So, Carmen, congratulations on that. Great performance in indoor, 3rd in the country, All-American honors, and running the 400 hurdles and setting a school record the first time she's ever done the event. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Move on now to men's track and field.
Men's track and field, Jed Curtis and Colton Lenton. Jed had the fastest time of the day in the hurdles at 15.81, and Colton scored points in both the 100 and the 200 meters, which is a great feat for him. I've nominated these 2 guys for that, as well as both these kids are in the weight room just about every daggone day. So I'm really proud of them, and I'm happy to say that. And it's a toss-up between Jed and Colton who gets the meat of the week, so I'm giving it to both of them.
Absolutely. Last meet of the week, you can do whatever you want within reason and within certain guidelines. I'm going to retract that statement. Let's go ahead and move on to men's tennis.
I think it's a wise idea. Men's tennis, 1 nominee. The winner's no secret here. Greg Migler-Reese, the guy, it's hard to believe he's a tennis player because I've yet to see Migler-Reese. Well, there he is on his shirt right there. I didn't think he owned any shirts that had sleeves in them. Every time I see him walking across campus, walking in the weight room, he's cut the sleeves out of his shirt. I'm happy for him. He works hard. He drives a nice BMW. But, Greg, your arms just aren't that big, big fella. You need to pump them up a little bit more before you lose the sleeves. I'm sorry. Somebody had to say it, and I'm saying it right now. I like where your head's at. Keep working, but let's buy some shirts with sleeves in them.
Doesn't qualify for Sun's Out, Guns Out.
The sun was certainly out.
No guns.
The guns should have been left in.
All right, and to our final meet of the week, let's go ahead to women's tennis.
Corbin, Lucy, and Lauren. They have done an outstanding job in the weight room this fall and in preseason. Lauren's a little dinged up right now. She had a little back injury this past weekend. Lucy has done a fabulous job of doing cardio work, is doing resistance training in the weight room. It's her first time ever throughout her college career and high school career of doing any kind of weight training, and I'm so proud of her. Corbin is in the weight room at least twice a day, once for cardio work and once for resistance work. And, bless her heart, she's a shy little thing, so I'm going to give it to Corbin because I think she's really dug down deep and overcome some hurdles to get in there and get past her shyness, and she's done a great job. And I'm so proud of all three of them, but I'm giving it to Corbin.
Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, having a great season.
They are. They're doing great. I think Justin's got them off to one of their best starts ever for quite some time as well.
Well, good. Well, Samson, last meets of the week.
I'm a little sad, but, when one door closes, another one opens.
Absolutely. Well, Samson, maybe we'll see you again.
You'll definitely see me again. An exciting new T-shirt and new name for this segment will be revealed in 2 exciting weeks.
We'll bring that to you on the next Meets of the Week.
Sounds great. Thanks, Richmond.
We'll be back in just one moment. Nick and I will look ahead to the upcoming weeks of athletics here at Roanoke College. Stay with us.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
The well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot
Shot,
that
score!
you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
And we're back here to look ahead at what's coming up in Roanoke College athletics. Tomorrow, the softball team travels to face Guilford in doubleheader action starting at 3 p.m. The women's lacrosse team will travel to Lexington to face number 14 Washington Lee in their second ODAC contest of the season. On Thursday, action returns home as the men's tennis team hosts Hampton-Sydney College at 3:30 p.m., while the baseball team will host Milligan under the lights at Kiwanis Field. That contest is slated for a 7 o'clock first pitch. And finally, women's lacrosse, or at least finally in my section here, women's lacrosse brings their action back home this Sunday as they play Randolph-Macon at 2 p.m.
Now my turn. On March 28th, Roanoke will host 3 different contests as the women's lacrosse team will host Lynchburg at 4 o'clock, followed by the men's team who will battle Christopher Newport University at 7. Baseball will face off against Emory and Henry that night as well with a 7 p.m. start time. Don't forget, like Roanoke Athletics on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter at RC Maroons. Thanks to Ellen Johnson, Dave Mulford, Bob Rotans, Scott Allison, Brad Moore, our multimedia director, Reed Hall, technical director, TJ Kemper. That's all we have for you tonight from Mac and Bob's. For Richmond Brand, I'm Rick DeSantis. Good night from Salem.